So news. A lot of this might be maybe old by the time you're hearing this, but because it would have been a week since the showcase, but we last recorded just before the Bethesda and Microsoft showcase aired last week Sunday.
You want to open with that or not with Final Fantasy? Sure. Okay.
Yeah, fuck. Let's
Cool.
actually just go Final Fantasy. Yeah, because that's more recent. Final Fantasy. Square
You're
Enix
so
had
easy
a
to persuade.
oh, it's more recent. It's probably more exciting.
Yep.
But Square Enix had a literally probably like 9 or 10 minutes, so it was very brief.
It was for 14 whole smackaroo of minutes, yeah.
Was it 14? Okay, it didn't feel that long. But it was a Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary celebration. Probably the first 4 minutes of that stream were dedicated to just showing like big letters of each of the games flowing by very slowly. It was
Hold
very
up.
stupid.
If you're watching the stream, let me just scrub through to my favorite part here. There we go. Merchandise.
Oh god, yeah. When they started the stream and then like the first thing they showed in exciting announcements was merchandise, I was like, oh
Like,
god.
yeah, I want
Oh
that Buster
god.
Sword alarm clock.
I was like, what is this stream gonna be? We're all being rickrolled here. What a mess.
But the stream did have a happy ending. There were lots of good announcements.
It had bangers.
Yeah.
So first up, we are getting finally. Hold on, was that a ring of Cloud's belt?
I think no. This is like
Shinra.
No, in the game you get those bangles that you slot your material into. So I think it's that. Okay. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So accessorize.
So I mean, they showed off updates to First Soldier, which is that online
season 3 of this. I had no idea we're on season 3. I still, for some reason, thought this game was not out. I thought it was in like beta or something. So
no. It's a mobile online shooter where you're playing different soldiers. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. The first big announcement was another look at the Final Fantasy VII like remake remaster thing that's coming to mobile phones. That is kind of combining the stories of Crisis Core and Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
I think this is called Ever Crisis, if I'm not mistaken.
Ever Crisis, yeah.
And it seems like at first I was like, okay, this is just another way for them to tell the story. Like it's got your turn-based battles, and then you've got very chibi-like characters running through environments. But then at the end, it sort of suggested that this might tie into Remake in a completely different way, because you saw Sephiroth in like the outskirts of a fiery Nibelheim, but then he kept alternating between like
the
normal Sephiroth and young Sephiroth, and I'm like, what is going on here? So,
yeah. Don't know. I think they've got some shenanigans planned for.
I think so, Remake, and I think that sort of ties into the shenanigans that they're pulling with part 2 of Remake, which we'll get to now soon. But yeah, I think they said a beta is coming later this year for this. Yeah. So, and this is going to be released in parts, as far as I know. So yeah, pretty cool. Look at that Sephiroth with short hair.
What is going on?
What a snack!
A snack. Next time you see Shadi, say I went to the fridge to look for you, but you weren't there. My snack.
So definitely a great pickup line. So now we're like 9 minutes into the showcase, and it's just like, and then the bangers just start dropping. So we're getting a remaster / remake of Crisis Core.
Finally, after 15 years later. So if you
15 years,
yeah, because I think it was 2007. So if you do not know, Crisis Core is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII, and it only ever launched on the PSP. So if you did not have a PSP, you missed out on this real good game.
Phenomenal game.
But let me tell you, it's coming to every damn platform under the sun now.
Yeah, quite literally. I did not expect that. I actually thought they'd just keep this on like
I also thought
Switch, to be honest. But yeah, it's so Crisis Core, like you said, prequel to the events of Final Fantasy VII, kind of explains the origins of Cloud and introduces a new character called
Good
Zack.
boy Zack.
Yeah, who is the original. Well, he's the one that has the Buster Sword.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
so
that.
you know of Zack, but you learn how they came to
Yes.
be in Final Fantasy
And it
VII's
kind of
main story.
explains a lot of the events to do with Sephiroth in
Mm,
7. Like,
yeah,
this is kind of where he starts becoming unhinged.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's a great game. It's got a really cool battle system, I think, a real-time battle system that works with like this sort of like lottery mechanic where
Mm,
you're spinning like numbers and getting special attacks based on combinations you're getting there.
mm,
It's just a really good game. And at first, when I was looking at this footage, I was like, oh, okay, it doesn't look too different from the PSP version. But
mm.
then I've
You look
watched
at side by side
comparisons, and
comparisons. Yeah,
holy shit, yeah, it is. I mean, it's borderline a remake. It looks entirely
yeah.
different.
Look,
Like visually, just incredible.
it's not in the same. It doesn't have the same visual fidelity as Final Fantasy VII remake.
No, not at all.
But
Yeah.
it still looks real good.
I think that's why it's coming to Switch, because
Mm,
I don't think if you had something that looked like Remake, it would never, it's impossible that it would work on Switch.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'm ready to fucking cry buckets at the end of this game. Although, if
Although we don't know.
yeah, you don't know, like if they're going the remake route with this, the ending might not be what you expect, sort of like 7 remakes. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't
it's called
know.
Crisis
This
Core Final Fantasy 7 Reunion,
there's
an
some
R.
shenanigans going on here. Seriously.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's coming out. That was
Uh
unexpected and very cool.
Very exciting. That's out later this year.
Mm.
And then the big one, finally, the first trailer for the second part of the remake trilogy. Definitely still a trilogy. And this is called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Rebirth.
Um, Boy, they
Remake,
lean heavy
rebirth.
into whatever fucking shenanigans they are. So, okay, so this is going to be quick spoilers if you have not played Remake
Virtual
yet.
eyes.
Yeah, essentially, the whole of Remake is kind of like the characters in Remake fighting against predestined like fates. That kind of just it kind of means that they're fighting against the events of the original game.
Mm.
You see these like ghosts throughout the game, and eventually you find out that they are the ones trying to keep the game on track, like
Mm.
trying to keep the game according to the story that you expect it to follow. And
Yeah.
literally at the end, you fight embodiments of these expectations and kill them. And so everything after that, technically, is expected to be a new story because now you've broken free from the constraints of the previous game.
Yeah.
And this trailer leans into that so hard.
Yep.
Like you've got Aerith, quite literally referencing events of the past or events to come that you can still change.
Yep.
You've got these flashbacks to Zack, who now in this timeline is apparently still alive, maybe.
Well, that's what they're
In
implying.
the last game,
So
that he's still alive. He never died at the end of Crisis Core.
yeah,
So how that comes into play later will be interesting. My money is on Aerith not dying anymore.
I still think she will. I think they won't change that.
I think if she's communicating with a past self, she knows she died eventually and maybe can prevent it this time.
But she has to die for the planet, though.
Does she, though? Also, now we have 2 Sephiroths, essentially. We have the Sephiroth in our current timeline, and we have Sephiroth who has already lost to Cloud multiple times. So what is he up to, type of thing?
If you're coming into this with no reference, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, good lord! Like everyone was like, "Oh, this is just a remake of 7." It's like, nah, you need to know 7 backwards and forwards.
It makes complete sense if you've played 7. I'm like, oh yes, okay, I see what's going on here. Multiple Sephiroths. Oh yes, this is cool. Yeah, I'm very keen for this. I think this game is gonna.
Barrett dies and then comes back to life. So like,
yeah,
fucking everything's on the table. Like nothing. I'm excited. They said that this is coming next winter, which is a very vague window because winter could mean late 2023 or early 2024. And knowing these games, it will be delayed anyway. So
and
I reckon
is
2024 is a solid guess.
PS5 exclusive. So,
Actually, there was a lot of expectation that 7 Remake would be announced for Xbox at the stream, and it wasn't. So I wonder if that's ever happening.
I'm surprised because for some reason I thought it was a timed exclusive thing.
For
but
a very long time. That's how it was described. So
PlayStation like, nah, fam.
And this one's only on PS5, no PS4 version.
I think Crisis Core though is on everything,
Yes,
including
Crisis Core is on
Xbox.
all the consoles as well. Listen, if that game runs well, the Switch is going to be the perfect platform for that, I think.
Yeah, I'd love to play it on Switch. Let me just double check
Yeah.
here.
Oh, we're gonna see Zach and Aerith rekindle their
Yeah.
relationship again.
That's on literally everything. Cool.
God,
So
that game. Fuck, I'm so jealous of people who have never played that game because it's
yeah,
just so good.
prepare to cry.
Yeah, prepared to.
So that is not there. Remember, this is E3, not E3. So we spoke about Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest last week, and since then, a lot of little streams have since taken place, including obviously this Final Fantasy 7 25th anniversary. But I suppose, do you want to fly through the Xbox and Bethesda one quick? Because it is old news
Yeah.
at this point, but we can have a quick look at some updates here. I mean, most important one, we got a trailer for Hollow Knight Silksong.
Oh yeah, Jesus, the fucking scream I let out when this thing came on screen. I was not expecting it.
Yeah,
so.
this is completely left field. Did not expect Silksong to pop up at Xbox. It is coming to Game Pass, and I think the most exciting bit, the theme of the show was everything you see is not everything's coming to Game Pass, but everything you see is out in the next year.
Yeah,
so
like everything they showed was 12 months away at most. Yeah.
So Silksong in the next 12 months. I mean, it's not a solid release date, but I'm hoping, coming to Game Pass.
Game Pass day one, that's a big one. And it's coming to Xbox because previously this was only announced for Switch. So
yeah,
that's a big deal.
I'm sure it'll
Man,
end
that
up on
gameplay
everything
looks
though.
fucking great. Oh my god. I've watched that trailer so many times. It looks
You should
so
go watch
good.
the original trailer. It's still real good.
I did. So it has changed slightly. Especially the HUD, some of the elements there have changed, but from what I can tell, the movement of Hornet kind of hasn't. Like when I played it at E3, I found her to be, the original Hollow Knight, the vessel or the character you play as, he had a very cardinal like movement system. It was up, down, left, and right.
Yeah.
Hornet is very diagonal. Like all of the moves are diagonal, so you're attacking diagonally and stuff like that. So it's quite an adjustment. But yeah, looks great.
Cool.
Looks fucking great.
Got an update on Raidfall, which looks fun.
I think it looks cool. I'm kind of keen on this. It's like, I mean, it's very easy to reduce it down to Left 4 Dead, but with vampires. But Arcane. This is Arcane
Dead.
with Red 4 Dead. Oh God. This is Arcane Studio that is being led by Harvey Smith, who is the mind behind like Dishonored and Dishonored 2. And he seems to think you can play this game alone and like stuff like that. So I'm giving it a lot more credit than just what was shown there, because it does look like a Left 4 Dead based on what they showed.
I mean, obviously I'll play it. It's just the trailer. I was like, yeah, looks okay. It's fine.
Yeah, it looks very different to what Arcane is usually making. So I get that.
The Rick and Morty creator revealed a game called High on Life. Cool.
A lot of people thought this looked cool. I thought it was like fine.
It's
just
fine.
like a shooter with weirdness, that you'd expect from Justin Roiland. So yeah, that's coming out this year.
This was a pretty big deal. Riot Games on Xbox Game Pass. So obviously League of Legends and a lot of these games are free to play, but if you have Game Pass, for example, you get every single champion in League of Legends.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's
you get all the champions in League of Legends. The same for the mobile spin of Wild Rift. In Valorant, you get all the agents. And in Teamfight Tactics, you get a bunch of stuff. Same with Legends of Runeterra, which is, I think, their card game. You get a foundation set unlocked. So, yeah, this is a big deal. And I do wonder if this means we'll start getting games like Valorant and League on Xbox as well.
I mean, Valorant, I always thought was coming to console at some stage, as is Wild Rift. So I think it's an indication of they will end up there at some stage.
Yeah, probably. And if they've made this deal, maybe it will be like these games are only available on Xbox, not on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, I think people keep forgetting that League of Legends is still like one of the biggest games in the
It's
world
huge, yeah.
in terms of player count. So like this is a huge deal.
Mm.
So yeah, that's cool.
And
We got a
I think that's also
mm,
going to give Xbox Game Pass a huge injection in numbers because
yeah,
people who play League of Legends will just go, well, instead of having to buy every champion, I'll just subscribe.
exactly. And I wonder if it only so I assume you have to continue to be subscribed to have access to those
I think
champions.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
know
a
how that'll
smart deal.
work, but we got a trailer for A Plague Tale Requiem.
I'm so
Looks
keen for
good.
this
I need
game.
to play this first game.
I'll be honest, do not think it's coming this year, even though the trailer suggested it is. Could
Not.
easily see this being an early 2023 game. Yeah, but
Good lord.
I played A Plague Tale. What was the first one
Recently.
called?
I think it
Innocence.
just
Yeah,
was Innocence.
yeah. I played it recently because it got that like next gen patch. Man, that
Mm.
game is great.
Yeah,
Like,
I need to
if
play
you
it.
ever enjoyed a Last of Us game, like it's straight up a Last of Us. In terms of pace and tone and
Mm.
gameplay, it's fucking great. Very
Nice.
very keen for this one. So yeah.
A
Uh,
trailer for Forza Motorsport, which is not called Forza Motorsport 7 or 8 for some reason. It's just called Forza
Yeah, they
Motorsport.
just kind of reboot because the last one was 7,
Could
I
could
think.
developers stop doing this? Just
I hate
stop
it.
it. Just
I hate it.
please. Because then what happens
It's
in 10, 15 years again? Do you now reboot your franchise with
I
Forza
can't wait till
Motorsport?
the next Horizon. It's just gonna be Forza Horizon again. It's just
Yeah.
yeah. So this is the first time in a very long time that we don't have well, okay, I lie. This last year we got Forza Horizon and the year prior we got no Forza game, but like
Mm.
usually they've been on a cadence of like,
Every year
alternating.
alternate, yeah.
But Forza Motorsport has kind of been in the works, well, this new one since like 2017, 2018.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, it's finally coming in spring or summer 2023, so early next year. But boy, it looks fucking
Looks
great. Like
real good.
whatever engine they've spent years working on to redefine like the look of this game, it just looks
Mm.
like Gran Turismo looked great this year. Polyphony
Yeah.
always did, it's a showcase, but this, I'm
This
sorry,
looks real good.
looks a level above. It
Mm.
looks incredible. So yeah, keen on that. I do love me some Forza,
Mm.
so very keen.
Microsoft Flight Sim is getting a whole lot of new planes and other goodies for the franchise's 40th anniversary.
That's wild.
That is
Flight Sim is
insane.
killing me.
Yep. You can also fly the Pelican in Flight Sim from
They
Halo
had that
Infinite.
whole, they had the ship and they had the and I was like, oh, this is so stupid.
I
This is
laugh
great.
every time. Oh. This was quite surprising. Overwatch 2 was part of the showcase, and it is completely free to play. Can I
I
just
think it's
say
only the multiplayer though,
no?
hey?
But
I don't think the
that's
single player.
that's fine because
Yeah.
for months and years we've been scratching our head, going, "How's this going to work? You're going to split your fan base." It was just silly. Like
It made no sense.
it made
Yeah.
no sense. So Overwatch 2 is free to play. The multiplayer,
Starts in
I think.
October. Can you believe it?
Yeah. No, early access begins in October. It's not out officially, but
I
yeah.
think, yeah, yeah. And we've got a new hero, Junker Queen.
Yeah. Looks pretty cool.
This may as well have been the Xbox, Bethesda, and Blizzard showcase because
Yeah.
boy, Blizzard brought all of their games here anywhere else. So
we'll get there.
yeah.
Arrow History Untold. This is just a real-time strategy game that reminded me a lot of Civilization. The Elder Scrolls Online is getting another expansion called the High Isles, coming June. It's out basically tomorrow. We'll be listening to this on Monday.
Right, yeah, it's out. Yeah.
Fallout 76 also getting some new stuff. What is this? The Pit, which is apparently an iconic location.
Yeah, it's basically Pittsburgh. But I think it was present in some previous Fallout games. So yeah. Cool.
Forza Horizon.
Fallout 76 getting more support. That's cool, I guess.
That's cool. Yeah. Forza Horizon 5 getting some Hot Wheel action with some vroom Hot Wheels, which is really cool.
I'm keen on this because they did this with Forza Horizon 3.
Oh, was it not?
as well.
Oh, 4 was what? I think it was 4. 4 got the Lego stuff.
Yes, 4 got
Yeah.
Lego. Yeah, Hot
Okay.
Wheels was originally in
Well,
3, and it
3.
was
Okay.
fucking great. It was just so much fun. It was like they turned Forza
Into
Horizon
Trackmania.
into like Trackmania essentially. So you could race like a Ferrari on these like loop-de-loops. It was so silly. It
Nice.
was great.
I'm
Yeah, so
ready.
keen on this.
Vin Diesel Simulator Arc 2 is
Oh
expected in
god.
2023. Cool.
Okay.
Dinosaurs. Scorn got new gameplay and a release date
I don't
of.
like this game.
This
This
game
game
just
makes me
makes me
feel funny.
uncomfortable. Yeah, I
Yeah,
hate
I'm
it.
not a fan of
I
this
hate
at
it.
all. It's some real H.G. Geiger like no, I
Yeah.
don't like it at all.
Skip. Flintlock Siege of Dawn is coming in
This looks
2023.
really cool.
This
I mean, this was a brand new game out of nowhere, and this looks fucking cool.
it reminds me of God of War, sorry for the axe, but with guns, with
Yeah.
a gun, which is
It's
really
got a
cool.
whole like steampunk vibe to it.
Yeah,
It looks pretty
it looks
cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
Minecraft Legends is a new game from the Minecraft peeps, expected in 2023. It is. Is it a real-time strategy or it's a strategy
Yeah,
game?
it's a strategy game. I don't know if it's
Real
real-time
time. Yeah.
strategy. I'm just trying to look for gameplay here.
I've got gameplay. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, it looks sort of like a real-time strategy game.
I
Looks
love.
cute.
I love that this team will never not make Minecraft.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, if it's sort of like Dungeons, which was a very simplistic or pared down ARPG, I think this could be really cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah,
Latia Frontier is a farming simulator
with
with
mechs.
mechs.
Hell yeah.
Gunfire Reborn. I don't remember this game.
I think there was just a bunch of like smaller games shown at this event.
Last.
This is that really cool like first person shooter with like a cell shaded look.
I do recall it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Last Case of Benedict Fox looks
This also looks pretty cool.
real cool.
Yeah.
It's like a 2D mystery adventure game.
Yeah,
think.
essentially, it looks pretty great. Yeah.
As Dusk Falls, this game. Games like this don't trailer well.
No, not at all.
Because I don't know, a game like this will probably be good when you play it, but watching the trailer, I'm like, it's
it just doesn't showcase what is really like happening behind the scenes properly.
No.
But there's a lot of talk about how interesting these branching storylines are. So I'd be keen to try it out. I'm always down for a good story.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it can be played with other players. So.
Yeah, that I don't quite get. Up to 8 players. That's okay.
Interesting.
Naraka Bladepoint, as we mentioned earlier, is coming to Xbox June 23rd. So this week, it is a battle royale with anime and swords, basically.
Melee battle royale, essentially. No.
A Pentiment. This is quite a surprise. So Obsidian Entertainment is making a game called Pentiment. You know, over and above all the other stuff they're working.
Jesus, they are working on so they're working on like Grounded, Pentiment, Avowed.
Yeah.
So Pentiment, what got me was that it was described as a sort of 16th century Disco Elysium. I'm like, okay.
That seems cool. So when this trailer rolled around, I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, it looked super weird. I mean, it's like a 2D RPG essentially, a lot of story-based stuff. So, yeah, I'm keen on that.
And then on that, Grounded, the other game, now has an official release date coming out of game preview in September. I can't believe we played this 2 years ago, just about when it came to game preview.
I recall playing it, and there was very little content at the time. So yeah, I'd be keen to give it another go. Yeah,
we've added a lot. Erebin Shadow Legacy,
a fast-paced stealth platform game. Just watching the trailer now, it looks pretty sick.
Yeah,
I'm kind of keen.
Cool.
Anything with stealth and platformer in.
You're there.
Cool, I'm there. I'll give that a go.
100% there. And then another surprise in the show, Diablo 4 got a Necromancer trailer. But yeah, it's got crossplay, cross progression, and it's expected in 2023. I watched this trailer, and because I'm playing Diablo Immortal, I just thought, shit, I cannot wait for Diablo 4. Like a non-free-to-play, just a base entry into the franchise for that loot. Goodness. Yeah, so that's coming. Sea of Thieves is getting more content. Shocker.
The game that just keeps going.
We played this at E3. Was it E3 or Gamescom? I always get them
E3.
mixed up. Was it E3?
E3.
Before it launched, like a lifetime ago.
Literally.
A Ravenlock is an action-packed fairy tale. This game, the placement in the showcase felt off. It is like hit after hit after hit. Diablo 4, this very dark game, and then there's like Ravenlock.
It's very whimsical, like fairy tale.
I was like,
game,
okay, that was a bit random. A Cocoon from who's this? Developed by the gameplay designer of Limbo and Inside.
This looks great.
This also looks really cool.
It's like puzzles within puzzles.
Yeah.
And it's being published by Annapurna, so coming out next year.
Oh yes. Wulong Fallen Dynasty.
It's another Souls-like from Team Ninja.
Is it from? Oh, is it okay? I wasn't quite sure. Why did I think that? Is this part of a franchise though? Right?
No. So a lot of people thought this was Neo 3, but it's just not. It looks a lot like Neo 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a whole new thing from Team Ninja. Okay. It's coming to other platforms as well, but it's going to launch on Games Pass. So
nice.
That's cool.
Another big surprise: Persona.
Yeah,
Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal coming to Game Pass. And Xbox.
Games on Xbox. Yeah, this is crazy to me. So, I mean, Persona 3 Portable as well. That's just a huge surprise. But Persona 4 Golden, Persona 4 was a PS2 game, and then Golden was PS Vita exclusive. It's since come to PC and PlayStation. And then Persona 5 Royal, obviously only PlayStation exclusive. Is it on PC? I think
it is on PC. I could be wrong. All coming to Xbox and Game Pass.
I think Persona 5... No, Persona 5 is not on PC. It's not. This is the first time it's coming to PC.
Persona 4 is on PC.
Yeah. So Royal is basically Persona 5 with the additional content. You get a whole new party member and new story stuff. So that's the one to play if you've never played. So Royal's coming out on October 21st to Xbox and PC, and the two games coming later. They'll be all on Game Pass. Good to note that these are coming to other platforms as well.
Yeah. And then Xbox announced Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about Hideo Kojima's new game. There was that rumor. What was it called? Overdose, I think. That he was making a horror game. So they didn't announce that game specifically. They just basically said that Kojima and Microsoft are working on a game that will use cloud stuff, which a lot of reports seem to indicate that this was the game he pitched to Stadia, and Stadia didn't take up on it. But yeah, this is being done with Microsoft Game Studios, so this is straight up an exclusive. Like, there's no question.
Finally,
about that.
The next Strand game.
But who knows when the fuck it's coming? There wasn't even a name announced. I would say a good 2-3 years out.
When I say they announced Hideo Kojima, they legit were like...
He was just there. He's like, hey, I'm Hideo.
But this is so John Michael pointed out, it's like, when in the history has anyone just said like, oh, hey, here's this developer. And like, that's the announcements. We're working on a game.
It's just one of those people that you can do it for. Like, yeah.
And then at long last, we got some Starfield gameplay. And it looks entirely okay to me.
Yeah. Listen, it looks like a Bethesda game in space.
Yeah, look, I get the love for Skyrim and Bethesda games, but I don't know, maybe I missed Skyrim. I played Oblivion before it and I loved it, but I don't know. There's something about these games that I don't go like, ooh, Starfield. I mean, I played Oblivion and then I think I played Fallout 3, both of which I loved, and then I just fell off the Bethesda bandwagon. But look, not at all to take away from these games. It's just, it doesn't look like... My concern is that this could be the next Cyberpunk, where fan expectations are like sky high, and then it's just like you said, it's a Skyrim in space, which is fine. But
I worry for that, because the expectations... I mean, I'm seeing... the way people spoke about this after the show, and they're like, this is the most ambitious game I've ever seen. I'm like, what? Am I watching the same fucking gameplay? Like, what is going
Yeah.
on here? Like, sure, okay, I'm not going to be reductive and be like, this is just No Man's Sky, because it isn't. Mining
No.
shit in space is not. No Man's Sky wasn't the first game to do it. It's
Mm.
not the only game that does it. Like, but genuinely, this just looks like you've got multiple different hubs in space. You've got characters to talk to, and it looks like a Bethesda game. I see nothing gameplay wise that's ambitious. I see scope that's ambitious. Sure,
The
like it
scope
looks,
is
but that's what's
100%.
terrifying
That's,
about it as
yeah,
well.
look. Okay. How many people around the world gasped, or not gasped, let out an audible sigh when Todd Howard was like, every planet can be explored. You're like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then he says 1,000 planets.
Yeah, I was just
That
like,
you
oh,
just
for
lost me. Like,
like
so I was saying at the office that if you have a solar system, and say for whatever reason this game takes place predominantly in one single solar system, there are 6 planets to explore. Even then, I'm like, yo, full-size planets. That's like a lot of map, a lot of ground to cover. But when you just throw out numbers like 1,000 planets, you lose me because I just know a lot of those planets are going to be empty.
yeah.
So yeah, it's you hit the nail on the head. It's too ambitious. Like you're throwing out these big numbers, and I just don't know if the final game will hold up to that. It's
I just don't. Oh, it wouldn't be a Bethesda game without a hacking mini game or a fucking lock picking mini game.
Yeah.
The way it's been spoken about and the way people are speaking about it, you're right. It reminds me a lot of Cyberpunk. And granted, at the time, I was one of those people that after seeing the showcase at E3, I was like, Jesus Christ, the ambition of Cyberpunk is incredible.
But the difference is Cyberpunk demoed well. You watch that trailer, you go, oh my God, like the gunplay looks good, the environment looks good. This, I look at the gunplay, I'm like, it just looks janky. It looks like
the gunplay looks awful.
It doesn't look like a demoed well. It's like Cyberpunk really, I watched it, I was the same. It's like, damn, like this game looks
What's amazing
incredible.
is that the gunplay still looks drastically better than it did in Fallout. So improvements, I guess.
So, yeah, look, it's coming.
The thing that did excite me though was the ship stuff.
Yeah,
like customizing your ship and the ship combat looked pretty good. And for once, the character models look pretty fucking great. I won't lie. So,
we're gonna get a lot of penis ships, calling it.
Oh, absolutely. So, listen, I'm still willing to give this game a go.
Yeah,
but after this, I was like way more lukewarm on it than before seeing this footage.
Yeah, my message to everyone is this: just temper your expectations. I think if you're expecting Cyberpunk 2.0 in terms of pushing the medium forward, like I don't think this is that. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I don't think this is that. But yeah, that was the Xbox Showcase, and it was really good. Like there were a lot of surprises that I did not expect.
Yeah, it was Microsoft's best show in years,
in a long time. I think
lots of games, and all of it was gameplay.
Yeah, and I think this is finally what we've been waiting for. Where, I mean, it's weird to say this because a lot of these weren't necessarily their studios, but it feels like there's this cadence coming where Xbox is now in a place to show all the shit they're working on. Game Pass is like paying off now because they're adding all these games to the service. You go, damn, like Game Pass really just continues to be the best value for money, like hands down.
Absolutely, yeah. And they showed that was what the showcase was about. Like all of these games come to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Or within the next 12 months, like they put out that image
huge graphic, yeah.
That was just like, check out all these games coming in the next like year all to Game Pass. It's ridiculous. So yeah, they hit the nail on the head in that regard.
Cool. Well, let's fly through the rest of news. Just tying into this showcase, Todd Howard did an interview, was it with IGN or someone? And we got news that Fallout 5 will be the next game after the Elder Scrolls 6.
Man can't help himself, man. Like,
I was like, yo, Starfield's not even out yet.
Howard said that Elder Scrolls 6 is in pre-production. So like the game's not even in active development yet.
No.
And he's all like, yeah, cool, Fallout 5 afterwards, man. That don't talk about games that are more than a fucking decade away. Like, just don't. Like,
I mean, how long have they been working for Starfield?
Microsoft is giving them enough money to split into a two-team studio. I just do not think that that's what it's going to be. But boy, that's just so dumb.
Idea.
Like, just don't talk about it like that. like now.
Yeah.
What he did say that Starfield can be completed. Well, the main quest can be completed anywhere between 30 to 40 hours. It's not too bad.
Nope. In other shows, so there were a bunch of showcases this week. A lot of indie showcases, but we're going to end off with the Capcom Showcase.
Also another good one.
Which had Resident Evil 4 Remake get an actual gameplay trailer, which is pretty...
Okay, if you're going to call 30 seconds of Leon walking gameplay.
With actual gameplay. Okay, we've got some actual gameplay now.
He has a good jacket.
Yeah, we got some interesting news for just Resident Evil as a whole. So Resident Evil Village Winter's expansion includes Shadows of Rose story DLC. So if you haven't played Village, okay, avert your ears, okay, because they're just spoilers abound here. Sorry, my camera's being weird. But yeah, so this DLC takes place after Village, after Village, where you play as the daughter of Ethan Winters, Rose, who has some powers or some shenanigans going on here. But this expansion, I believe, takes place in the mind of whatever that thing's called that she's holding. Sorry, the consciousness of the Megamasate.
So it turns out, if you haven't played Village, you shouldn't be listening to this, but the Megamycete is kind of like the root of all the shit that's happened in Resident Evil. It's where the T virus originates from. It's why Ethan Winters could just like fucking put his hand back on his wrist and just put juice over it, and then it reattaches. It's some
it's just some herb juice.
Just put some lychee juice and it's reattached. It's done.
Oh my god.
So I don't know, but Rose kind of like has these powers, so it makes sense that the expansion is going to be about her. I wonder if this will round out her story completely.
I'm actually surprised because I thought the Village DLC would be, how they did with 7 of, oh hey, here's Chris's perspective, or here's another character who was in the village at the same time doing like something else. I didn't expect like a pseudo sequel, if I could call it that. Look, I don't know how long it is, but
like sort of like an epilogue.
Yeah.
In an expansion, but it makes sense given the massive time jump.
But what's quite cool is that, I know when I finished Village, it's like, damn, where's the franchise going? So at least this DLC will maybe give a more definitive indication of like, what are they doing next? Resident Evil Village's Mercenaries mode will soon let you play as Lady Dimitrescu, so you can be a walking tower of terror.
Cool.
Resident Evil Village is getting a third-person mode, which is also really cool. If you want to, if you don't vibe with the first-person perspective of the games, which I don't know why you wouldn't vibe with it, but if you want more of a classic Resident Evil feel, you can now play it in third person.
I'm so curious to see how this works, because there's so much of that game that only works because it's in first person.
I think this is 100% for whoever's finished the game is like, I want to play it again, but I want it to feel different. So
because like there are moments in that game that do not play in third person.
No.
Like the hand chopping scene, the baby scene.
No. We do not talk about House... what is it? Benevito.
Benevito. Jesus, what a great sequence in that game.
Yeah.
My lord.
The Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3 are getting... Well, they actually have next-gen upgrades available now. So a good excuse to revisit those games because they're going to look even better somehow. They already look good.
Small updates on the PC side. They did roll back.
Rolled back, yeah.
Yeah, they get... Well, you now have the option to choose the new versions or the old ones, because essentially when they put this out, you only had the choice of the new ones, and that raised the minimum specifications for the games, and it only ran on DirectX 12, which was causing some issues with mods, especially some VR mods. So yeah, it's good that Capcom quickly reverted that.
Yep.
That's neat.
Resident Evil Reverse will officially launch this October. This is
Straight up forgot this game was still coming.
6-player PvP deathmatch game. Look, I'll play it just because I want to see what it's all about.
Shit.
And then
so sorry to say.
And then ending the... Oh wait, I lie. Not rounding out the showcase. We got another trailer for Monster Hunter Rise, which also now has a demo. So if you want to give that a bash before it launches end of this month.
Described as a massive expansion.
I am all in on this. I am about to buy Monster Hunter Rise for PC. I'm going to be carried through the base game by John Michael, who's got endgame gear, and I'm going to be ready for this expansion. I cannot wait.
You kind of have to blitz through Rise again.
I have to. There's no. I was hoping there'd be a means to, because the game's not tied to levels, it's tied to gear. So I was kind of hoping that they'd say like, hey, you can just skip the first game. Here's some starter armor for the expansion, which is like level appropriate. But nah, it's fine. I'll just have to speed through that rather lackluster story. And then Exoprimal got a gameplay trailer and a closed network test coming ahead of release. So
this is that not Dino Crisis game, but still like PvPvE.
Basically, it's like Dino Crisis with mechs. Basically,
sick. I'm down.
I mean, it looks interesting. I don't know how it's going to be. But yeah, this is coming. And yeah, Street Fighter 6 to get at least one more announcement in 2022.
Man, the fervor around Street Fighter 6 during this not E3 has been insane. Like that's the game everyone's kind of talking about. And people who got to play it seem very chuffed about it. So I'm glad. Final Fantasy fans deserve this.
This is hilarious. Dragon's Dogma 10th anniversary event teased, but no sequel announcement. Can confirm sequel has been announced.
Yeah, they had an event. They had like a separate Dragon's Dogma event like during the Square Enix one, and they announced Dragon Dogma 2. Dragon Dogma is a game I never played, but has, obviously has that fan base attached to it. And I think the sequel, I mean, it is a Dark Souls-like in a way. So I reckon I'll give the sequel a go.
I just think of poor pal Wookie Garth, who gave the original 4 out of 10. And
a lot of people did not enjoy that first one. No. So that's fair. That is fair.
And then, so that's basically a run of all the showcases. Then just one surprise little announcement, potentially. A return for Lollipop Chainsaw is on the horizon.
Yeah, basically the IP got reverted to the original publisher. And they say that it's coming back.
I never played Lollipop Chainsaw, but I just remember it being spoken about a lot because of how wacky the game looked. You basically play as a chainsaw-wielding cheerleader in the middle of a zombie outbreak, I guess. That's what the box might say. I don't actually know. Never played it, so I'd be keen to see if it comes back. I think,
cool.
Yeah. Long news segment, but that is news this week.